Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us in our session today. I'm James Lam. I'm the CEO of Mount Alvernia Hospital. And before I begin, I would like to thank the Catholic200SG Organizing Committee for inviting us here to share about our hospital, and also to thank Karen and her team for helping me to put the slides together. Karen is my mission director. Mount Alvernia Hospital is the only mission, not-for-profit general hospital in the private sector in Singapore. So today, I'm very happy to be here to share a bit about Mount Alvernia Hospital, our history, our unique services, and my own faith journey and growth as a Catholic working in the Catholic hospital, some of our future developmental plans, and also our outreach and hopes and dreams and plans. To be able to work in a healthcare service, I think is a fantastic blessing, right? Because we have the opportunity to help those who are suffering and those who are sick. Of course, the folks working in nursing and the clinical departments, like physiotherapists, right, pharmacists, they have greater chance for direct interaction with the patients. But I tell my team, even if you're working in the finance department, right, corporate division, HR, whatever we do ultimately has an impact on the patient and their loved ones' experience in the hospital. So to share a reading from Jeremiah 30:17, "For I will restore health to you and heal you of your wounds, says the Lord." And we should appreciate that we must share our gift, right, to serve. From a reading from Peter 4:10 to 11, based on the gift each one has received, use it to serve others as good managers of the varied grace of God. If anyone speaks, it should be as one who speaks God's words. If anyone serves, it should be from the strength God provides, so that God may be glorified through Jesus Christ in everything. To him belong the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. So our unique legacy. We were started by our Franciscan missionaries of the Divine Motherhood, nuns, right, our sisters, affectionately known to us as our FMDM sisters. They first came to Singapore back in the 40s, right, where they helped to look after patients suffering from tuberculosis and leprosy. So as you know, these are conditions that people were very fearful of, right? But they had no fear, right? Because they have faith and trust in the Lord. So they were asked to come, and not forgetting these are Westerners, they don't speak our language. And you can imagine back in those days, our forefathers don't speak English like us, right? But they just got on with it and get it done. After that, they were asked to stay back in Singapore to help build a hospital. They spent another 2 to 3 years raising funds, asking for donation, and built our first version, a 60-bedded hospital, which is Mount Alvernia Hospital. And they did it all. In the early days, they were the CEO, the drivers, they cook, right? They did the bed sheets, everything. So later, there's a very nice video. Hearing from me is not so nice. We'll hear from our sisters in a clip from a few years ago. Then you can hear the joy. And this is us now, right? So now we are 300 over beds and general acute hospital, right? So with tertiary medical capabilities. It has the usual services of a hospital, right? A&E, X-ray, so on and so forth. We have 2 medical centers, right, with more than 100 specialists working on site. Actually, for us, we are part of a worldwide mission, the FMDM mission, and we have a presence across the world. It is not all in healthcare, so depending on the need of the society and the community in that country, right, our folks and our purpose will help them in the area. In Southeast Asia, right, we have a presence, of course, ourselves, with our sister organization, RCC Hospice. I'm sure you know, heard of RCC Hospice. We are still in the same campus, right? And also Mount Miriam Cancer Center in Penang, Malaysia. So 3 of us are a little cluster in Southeast Asia doing our little bit for healthcare. We don't see ourselves as a hospital with a mission, right? But rather as a mission with a hospital. So we were established as part of the healthcare ministry of the congregation of FMDM. We are owned by FMDM, so there is no shareholders, so to speak, and we serve all in society, regardless of religion, race, or nationality. So here is our motto, to serve all with love. So our vision, right, we seek to continue and embody the healing ministry of Jesus Christ to serve all with love. And we share in our worldwide mission of the FMDM, providing compassionate, excellent, and holistic healthcare. What's very important to me, and I'm sure to my team, are the core values. In terms of the expression of our faith, right? And you know, sharing personally, keeping myself in check. This is the core values that I go to very often. When I first joined Mount Alvernia 5 years ago, the core value of peace, in particular, really reached out to me and shouted out very loudly. Because I have been in different organizations, I've never come across such a core value, right? And it has helped me a lot as an individual, and I hope it has helped our team as well. So I often joke, in Mount Alvernia, even if we have to quarrel, we try to quarrel peacefully, you know. Yeah. So I did mention earlier about a nice video from our sisters, so I will show you what it is now.
In the 1940s, while many Singaporeans lived in the darkness of the slums, suffering from diseases like tuberculosis and leprosy, the expulsion of Catholic missionaries in China found a need for their services.
In 1948, China, in the Civil War, the communists took over the country. Within a few years, they expelled every single missionary out of China. It was a massive trauma for the church. But as a result, they established new centers in Tokyo, in Manila, in Singapore, many other areas in Southeast Asia. So the church in Southeast Asia, in a way, benefited, but with a great loss from China.
The bishops in China said to the sisters, "No, we don't want you, you have to go." Because he was trying to protect them. He didn't know what the communists were going to do.
And so they were invited to come down specifically to look after the tuberculosis patients of Tan Tock Seng, because no one wanted to do that job.
Mother Angela, Sister Camillus, and Sister Baptista. They were the first 3. A lot of nurses wouldn't want to work in TB hospitals because they're afraid of being contagious. I have actually worked in the tuberculosis place, but we never think that, oh, mustn't touch this, mustn't. No, we act normally.
They did such a fantastic job that they were also given care of the leprosy patients. They started out serving so well again that the government said, could you start training girls to do this job. They were the first ones who started this training center for nurses.
In 1961, the sisters built the first Catholic hospital in Singapore, Mount Alvernia Hospital.
The Franciscan missionaries of Divine Motherhood Sisters had that dream to build up a Catholic hospital to reach out to more patients.
Mount Alvernia was opened in 1961. For the first year or so, the whole place was run by sisters. We didn't have any nurses.
We couldn't pay for staff to begin with because we didn't have the money, so we did everything. We even had patients in the morning, wake them up, wash them, and then bring their breakfast in, then wash the dishes after that, and then clean the floors, clean the rooms.
The beauty of it was whether you were a patient in a private room, a 2 million or an 8 million, no difference to the way we treated them. And the food is the same. Food is the same, and the sheets, remember the embroidered sheets?
Embroidered sheets.
And all the beds were the same.
And we embroidered them.
We're really, because we're happy to have at last a hospital.
Nursing is a profession, and it's a calling.
Over the years, many different religious orders, such as the Little Sisters of the Poor and the Brothers of Mercy, came and attended to the disadvantaged of society.
So that is the nice legacy that we have to carry on, you know. It is a great sense of responsibility, but we embrace it bravely, right? We look at what the sisters have done as a great example for us to try to write more beautiful chapters for Mount Alvernia Hospital, and therefore, at the same time, for Catholic healthcare in Singapore. Over the years, we have developed some unique services and activities for ourselves, and that helped us to, I think, identify ourselves as a Catholic organization, but also to help us to grow the practice of our faith through our core values. Right? As I mentioned, we are driven by our Catholic mission and guided by our values and social teachings. Motto is to serve all with love, and we have a very beautiful chapel. Right? So if you ever have any reason to visit Mount Alvernia, to see a friend, you know, do make some time to drop by our chapel. A lot of my solutions to my difficult problems are answered in the chapel when I go there for reflection and prayers. Right? We do baby blessing, and it's actually very touching to know that more than 50%, right, of the requests from parents to have their baby blessed are actually not from Christians. So you can have Buddhists, you know, our Muslim friends actually requesting for this because it's very beautiful and unique. This is Rose. She heads up the clinical pastoral care team, which is a very unique service of our hospital that I'm personally very happy that we have and very proud of. Hey, feast day celebrations. This, as you can tell, are happier days. When you don't see a mask, you know it's pre-COVID. This is the new normal. You know, we can't see each other's face. That's me here, right? Me pretending to know how to play an instrument. And this Sister Linda, she has a beautiful voice. In fact, this was a celebration of our RCC Hospice 50th anniversary. So this is the RCC CEO, Shu Ling. This was a wonderful celebration. And now it's a COVID time because there are masks. This is a celebration of our own St. Francis Feast Day, right? Our patron saint. And we helped to, this Karen is sitting there. This is our director nursing. So we distributed food to our colleagues. Of course, they are supposed to eat separately. Safe social distancing. We do have special prayers and blessing for our wards and our team. Right, so here you can see Archbishop. This was for opening of our medical center D, 2014, right? Way back in 2014. This is very recent. Friar William, Thank God for him. So he's joining our clinical pastoral care team. So we can tap on him for a lot more blessings for our wards and for our team, you know. And this was the blessing of our St. Francis ward when we recently converted it into a COVID ward to help Ministry of Health look after COVID patients. So this is myself and Sister Audrey. This is the groundbreaking blessing of our new building. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. And this is, I think, the opening of the groundbreaking for the cancer center, I think. No, yes, yeah, cancer center. Okay. Values in Practice Award. So we do it quarterly or once in 2 months? Quarterly, right? Yeah. We do it quarterly, where our colleagues will write in and nominate fellow colleagues when they see them practicing our core values and being a good example, caring for others, being empathetic, being compassionate. And I love this ceremony. And this is pre-COVID celebration where we used to give out awards for the winners. And I always tell the team, you know, it is as important to acknowledge those who bothered to write in, right? Because they are recognizing the others in demonstrating their core values. So this is another important celebration that I like. Mission engagement. So we have a very adventurous mission team. Some of them are sitting in the audience today. So they will do their research to look for a good presentation, good topic, and then we'll come together and we could even play some games. By end of the day, there will be some sharing and takeaway, right? Again, linked to our core values and our purpose. This was, we wanted to reflect, this our feast day, 2019, also pre-COVID. And we wanted to reflect upon what we are building our house, being Mount Alvernia, right? What kind of values and belief system we are building. So we write it into bricks, you know, and then we stick it on this framework. And this is the commissioning Mass that we do, partaking in the liturgical rites and anointing for ministry. Mission formation retreats. I mentioned RCC Hospice, Mount Miriam in Penang. So before COVID, once a year, we actually try to come together to do a mission formation retreat. So this is not the corporate retreat we talk about how much business you want to grow or how many patients you want to see, but we look at our purpose, again, who we are, so that we do not forget our identity and what we are supposed to do in the society. Commissioning Mass, our mission team, and extraordinary ministries of the Holy Communion. I see many of our sisters here. Again, Karen, Rose, myself. Okay, this is a little bit more of a personal sharing on what I've experienced and what I hope to continue to grow in myself and hopefully with the team as well. So keeping in mind that we are a multi-religious, multiracial society, so not everyone is a Christian or Catholic in the organization, right? So how do we keep the identity, right, and the responsibility that the FMDM sisters have left with us? Because now we have taken over, right? They used to walk the ground, and it's very easy to have that look and feel of a Catholic hospital. Now, they don't walk the ground so much anymore, so it'll be down to folks like myself and the team, right? So how do we carry on and grow this legacy? I think it's very important for us to communicate, and sometimes even over-communicate, so that it sinks in. We need to communicate our special heritage and responsibility. And again, you know, I will keep coming back to our core values. It's so easy to remember. It's so easy to demonstrate. And those values are universal. Although for us, when we formulated them, it's based on our Catholic teaching, right? It's important to walk the talk and embrace and engage in any opportunity. So we can't be saying, you got to be kind, you got to be compassionate, and next moment someone sees you scolding another colleague severely, until the person cries because he made a mistake, right? So we really have to walk the talk. And it's not easy, right? Because all of us have different temperament, different upbringing, and different baggages and scars that we carry as a human, right? And it takes time. So as the leader of the organization, I can't tell the team, 1,000 over them, I want us to fully demonstrate our core values by end of the year. This is your KPI, and then I see it done. In fact, this sort of hopes and dreams, one can argue that we will never get there, and we constantly try, right? So we can't rush this sort of thing, right? Are we able to transcend beyond just the procedural tasks of healthcare to appreciating the opportunities to heal and to touch lives? As I said at the beginning, it is a unique blessing, right, to be able to serve in healthcare. So as we do our tasks, well, not me anymore, but as my nurse, right, changes the dressing of a wound, that is very procedural. But can the nurse have a deeper appreciation that, I'm healing somebody and I'm touching lives as I do my job? And if we can all feel that way, we don't feel like we are doing a job, right, every day. It's important to communicate. And I know there are arrows here, but hopefully it's two ways. So myself, being guided by our faith, right? My executive teammates, our head of departments, our staff, and the many, many patients and stakeholders that we have the opportunity to come across, right? So whatever I said earlier, me alone is not enough to spread this influence. Me and another team of 8 executive teammates is still not enough, right? Me and 50 over head of departments is still not enough. So we got to get the message down to the last staff. And hopefully that love and demonstration of care can spread beyond Mount Alvernia Hospital. In my own reflection, right? So you see on the left are some very negative emotions that we have to deal with as humans, and we are all weak, right? So we have to suffer feelings like worries, jealousy, anger, greed, and pride. But how do we move them to the right to experience the more positive values and feelings? I conveniently, again, use my core values, right? These are just examples. Of course, the list is not exhaustive. Compassion, humility, integrity, respect, and peace. So I discovered that we can only do that through constant prayer and reflections, right? So if we don't observe and reflect and pray about it, right, we could be stuck on the left, and we do not really improve and move towards the right. Same goes for how do we convert our thoughts and words and actions towards strengthening our faith. Again, I feel that is through prayer and reflections. For myself, I find that with regular discernment and reflection, guided by God through prayers, my faith has definitely strengthened, not only in the heart and spirit, but also through putting my faith in practice. So as an individual, I feel very strongly about putting our faith in practice. Because to know it just in theory, to keep it in the heart, I think is not enough, right? So we got to do it. We got to learn from our mistakes and continue to grow. So I find myself being more calm and peaceful these days. Not that I'm very hot-tempered to begin with, but I find that in times of stress, and you remember those negative feelings I showed you earlier, I can become a lot more calm. And what is this neutral zone? So I showed you just now, it's a narrow neutral zone. When we look at a situation or walk into a situation, what's our very first reaction? So for example, if my friend tells me, and I don't know this guy called Calvin, I came across him, right? And my friend said, he's a bad person, He likes to do bad things and he'll backstab you. What's my first reaction? Do I believe it immediately? If I come in the room and I see two people quarreling, right? They could be of different ranks, they could be of different gender, and I come into the room hot. They were shouting, I can hear a little bit of their shouting. How fast do I assess? Actually, the word I'm coming to is how fast do I judge? I find that I ask a lot of why questions these days, because in all things, there's a spectrum, right? There's 0 to 100, there's bad and good, and there's black and white. Right? So do we absolutely say, this person must be bad, right? Because my good friend tells me he's bad. So I find that I'm a lot more discerning and patient, and I'm curious to find out more. So in healthcare, it is a difficult arena. So hospital is a complex organization, and we are dealing with life and death. So the atmosphere can get quite tense, even within our team. Sometimes in managing an upset relative who is very angry, right, because he or she is upset with the outcome of a procedure. How do we look forward and embrace those difficult situations in anticipation of discovering our own flaws and weaknesses? So because, especially I think for people who work in corporates and people who work in army, right? So we have this term called after-action review. So some of the guys are laughing. AAR. So after a crisis, a difficult exercise, a difficult task, we all sit down, right? And we say, what could we have done better? Or this and that, this and that. I actually finding myself to anticipate that this is going to be a difficult discussion. It's going to likely to get very intense, and the temper is going to go up. And I'm looking forward how I can practice the core values in that situation, right? So I think don't do AAR, anticipate and look forward how you can demonstrate and be nice to one another and be kind. Okay, that's my little bit of sharing. After 5 years working in Mount Alvernia Hospital, I hope I can continue to grow more, not just in the waistline. Here's to share some of our future expansion and growth plans. Actually, this is our 60th anniversary, 1961. Sadly, thanks to COVID, all our big celebration plans, we have to shelve it, You try to do it online, but it's just not quite the same. So I say we started with 60 beds, and now we are 300 over beds. So you can see that we have plans to build a new maternity and pediatric block. Actually, if not for COVID, this would have been completed last month. It has been delayed more than a year, right? Like most construction projects, that's why it's been really challenging times for us. We are building two things. One is a nice story with a basement block that we intend to move all our mother and child services, like delivering suite, neonatal ICU over. And we are also building a new cancer center. And as if doing construction projects is not hard enough, we have to deal with COVID. So the challenges was up many, many notch. And this project has been delayed for more than a year. So this is the view if you're standing in the current Mount Alvernia Hospital lobby. Right? This is the Integrated Oncology Services Center. Right? Here, I'm here. Right? So we are building this together with the ICON Cancer Group. And this is how we envisage it will look like, hopefully by next June. So we have plans to expand our campus We have new facilities and capabilities now with this cancer center, right? We have adopted robotic surgery, actually just this year, and we have increased beds and capacity. It's not about building capacity so we can do more business. I think we see it as opportunity to serve more patients, right? To touch more lives and to serve more with love. Our ultimate aim actually, of course, doing our job well is already very important because we are looking after sick patients, right? So we can heal them, bring them comfort, bring them pastoral care, very important, right? Because we believe in holistic healing. That is already very important. But ultimately, if we can do that and then still build up some surplus to do outreach project, I think that is even more meaningful. So we do have active outreach activities. We have medical and dental center at the Agape Village in Toa Payoh. Right? This is our Smiles for Good program, where we make dentures, for needy elderlies. And you can imagine what good it will bring for their health and their self-confidence and esteem, right? Medical and Dental Center at Enabling Village. So this was opened this year. And you look at this chair, it's a special chair for people with disabilities. So you can wheel the patient up onto the chair, right? And you will tilt so that the dentist can work on the patient, right? Without the patient needing to get off the wheelchair. And we are very blessed to have the help of the dentist from KK Hospital. So for both the Agape Dental Service and Enabling Village, we can only do it with the help of our KK colleagues. And this was on the opening day. Actually, the model playing dentist here was me. Because the real dentist went away already, so I had to play the model, right? So how can we expand our outreach efforts to provide potentially for more inpatient services? Because you'll notice that a lot of our outreach activities are outside the hospital at this point in time. So I will share that it is not easy to run Mount Alvernia Hospital, even from the financial perspective, right? Because we are not for profit, but we do not raise charity funds. That means that business-wise, we do need to be sustainable, right? We do need to be sustainable, and we are competing in a very high-cost private sector healthcare market. In fact, if you look at the resources like doctors and nurses, right, we are competing also with the public sector, because as a nurse or radiographer or physiotherapist, I can join, a public hospital or a private hospital. So that cost challenge is high, so we do need to turn in a surplus, but we don't want a whole lot, and yet we want enough to do outreach, right? So that balance is a difficult tightrope, but we like the challenge and the team embrace it and hope we get it more right than wrong, right? Okay, so we hope to do more for inpatient care. Having an inpatient outreach program will allow more staff and doctors, obviously, to participate in our outreach effort. Just by looking after the patient, they will be experiencing the demonstration of outreach. And further down the road, can we create a volunteer program to allow more to participate in healthcare? Because we know that many people who are not in healthcare, they actually want to do something for healthcare. But it's not easy to run a volunteer program. So again, we don't need to rush, but we do need to plan very carefully. So in conclusion, I hope that all my colleagues can appreciate our unique legacy and thus the responsibility to grow our legacy. Regardless of our background, all colleagues can be centered towards putting our core values of compassion, humility, integrity, respect, and peace into practice. And we can all see beyond what we do as a healthcare job, right? But rather as a unique opportunity to continue the healing ministry of Jesus Christ, to serve all with love. I'll leave you with a reading from book of Jeremiah. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. It is not easy working in healthcare, right? And I've said all the nice things and rewards, but on a day-to-day basis, you may be on the receiving end, right, of a very angry feedback directly, from a relative, right? And unfortunately, during COVID time, it is made a lot worse. So in times of such weakness, right, despair, complete trust in our Lord, I think is very, very important, right, to keep our resilience so that we can serve more. And we don't exist alone, right? So, like I said, it's unique to serve in healthcare, and we have the good opportunity to touch the lives of many in the community. At the end of the day, we are part of a fraternity. And in this sort of interaction, right, and even in today, right, just doing the sharing, right, we hope that we can spread our DNA, who we are, and actually grow our DNA. So I'll leave you a nice reading from Fratelli Tutti. It is my desire that in this our time, by acknowledging the dignity of each human person, we can contribute to the rebirth of a universal aspiration to fraternity. Fraternity between all men and women. Here we have a splendid secret that shows us how to dream and to turn our life into a wonderful adventure. No one can face life in isolation. We need a community that supports and helps us, in which we can help one another to keep looking ahead. How important it is to dream together. By ourselves, we risk seeing mirages, things that are not there. Dreams, on the other hand, are built together. Let us dream then, as a single human family, as fellow travelers, sharing the same flesh, as children of the same earth, which is our common home. Each of us bringing the richness of his or her beliefs and convictions. Each of us with his or her own voice, brothers and sisters to all. I've come to the end of my sharing today. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope it was enjoyable for you. I'm pausing to look at the organizer if I have time to take any question. Yes. I think we have about 4 to 5 minutes. Do you all have any? Yes, please.
3 questions. Number 1, do you know why it's called Mount William Hospital?
Okay.
Number 2, could you describe a little bit about the blessing of the babies in the chapel? Because you did mention that there are Buddhists, Muslims who go for the blessing. So what does it entail? Number 3, the proportion of the employees in Mount William, are they all Christians? Because you said when you sometimes have to talk to your team about core values, I mean, that would entail talking about God. So
Yeah.
interesting to know how many of them are Christians and how many.
Thank you very much for your questions. I will answer number 3. then maybe I invite Karen to help me, because I'm a little bit out of breath, to help answer questions. Are you okay? Number 1 and 2? Yeah, so number 3, what was number 3 again? The staff, right? Yeah, so we obviously in Singapore, yeah, we have a mix, right? We have people with no faith, or Buddhists and all that. That's why we feel that our core values anchor and gel us together. Because the core values are universal. You don't need to be Christian to understand what is compassion, humility, integrity, respect, and peace. And deeper down, hopefully, if we can demonstrate as good Catholics, right, what is right to walk the faith, then maybe those around us can feel touched to begin with, and some might feel curious to inquire more. I think deeper down, we don't go on a conversion crusade, that's for sure, but we need to demonstrate, and then they may want to find out more. So
you would say the proportion is the majority of this, or you would say half?
It would be the minority, because if you think about the national demographics, our Catholics are also a minority, so it reflects the general population. Yeah.
So you're not just talking about Catholics, Christians as well.
Correct.
Yes.
It would reflect the same. We
it's
don't.
the same as society, I think.
Correct. And I think that's the beauty of our sisters as well. When we hire, we don't say you must be Christian or Catholic, but hiring for mission fit, the love for people, the love to serve, is the main criteria. And us all being, sorry, my back is against you. Us all being created by God, and the belief that everyone is created and gifted with God's love and presence in all. So what we do is we place our faith in everyone, and we share that with everyone that we choose. And we tell everyone that you have it in you, and we hope that then they would believe they have it in themselves, and we call forth that gift and that love from them. And with that, we all have a common ground to stand on, and very often, this is how we keep together. And during this pandemic time, this has seen us through. Yeah.
And then Assisi and the blessing.
Oh, okay.
Why Alvernia?
Yeah.
Alvernia.
So why we are called Mount Alvernia Hospital is because our patron saint is Saint Francis of Assisi of Italy, and so Saint Francis had a favorite mountain that he went to pray on, and he had his reflection time. James has his chapel in the hospital, but for Saint Francis, it was on Mount. It's Lavana. So the transliteration of it would be Mount Alvernia. Yeah, so a lot of our hospitals that the sisters founded is called Mount Alvernia. We used to have Mount Alvernia in Australia, in Bendigo, and also. So it's, this is how the sisters named our hospital. And Assisi Hospice is Assisi lah, because that's where Francis came from. Yeah, and your last question, your second question is on the blessing. So what we do is we go around. We used to only ask the Catholics. Then we were asked by the patients that, hey, how come they got special service we don't have? So we decided to be a little bit more brave, and we asked others, would you like to have this blessing? And this blessing is, of course, held in the chapel. But if you are a young couple, especially faced with the sudden dawning on yourself that, oh, the baby is mine and mine to care for the rest of our lives together, many people actually feel that sense of blessing and assurance is very important. So it is a Catholic prayer, but it's not overtly how do you say? It is. We do make it rather inclusive, but we pray in the name of Christ still. And we make the service very special also because we take the baby's photograph, we make it into a nice card, then the baby's name, and it's a blessing for the child and the parents as well.
So there's no like water or anything involved, it's just a sister doing the blessing?
It's a sister or one of our clinical pastoral care members, because no longer are the sisters, many of them are aged. So now the clinical pastoral care team has taken over that as well. It is a vocal prayer, plus also we light a candle and a sense of light, and it's always a representation of hope. So that's how it is. Yeah. Okay.
I think we have to end.
I think
Thank
we
you
have
so
to
much
end.
for
We
your
got
question.
signal.
This is Ms. Karen Poon, our mission director. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah. So thank you again all for attending today's sharing and the organizing committee. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you all. Okay.